Obviously, things have been a bit chaotic. As Coach had kind of talked about, we found out on Thursday as we were in practice. We were getting ready to go down to Carbondale. We're told kind of at the beginning of the practice we're not going to go down to Carbondale anymore. And going into practice, we were seeing other conferences start to shut down the rest of their season. So, guys are starting to get a sense that this could potentially happen to the Big Ten. It was seeming like it was just a matter of time. So I think we were all kind of prepared for that. Obviously, we were hoping for something different. This wasn't the outcome anybody had expected for our season or had hoped for going into it. So it's, obviously been chaotic. We got home a couple days ago and, just starting to get back into the training process, making sure I'm staying in shape. And I know just kind of talking to a bunch of our other players that they're all doing the same things. Coach had talked about this is almost another off season for us. It's a rare opportunity to get another full training cycle in, be able to work on some things that, we kind of lost time with being able to work on leading up to the season, because at the end of the day, once you get in season, it's time to compete. You're no longer trying to consistently work on things and, kind of change your game. And we have a rare opportunity to be able to do that, especially for our younger guys who are really starting to make a lot of strides in the last couple of weeks. But obviously it's been a bit disheartening, and it's an unfortunate situation, but I think the Big Ten, the NCAA, and our athletic department has all, made the right decision. Obviously, it's a tough decision, having to cancel spring sports, but I think the leadership we've seen under Josh Whitman and the Big Ten has been impeccable, and they've really proven their character and how much they care about their athletes and kind of how they've taken charge in this whole process. So.
Garrett, Jeremy Warner for 24/7 Sports, and I know the senior season meant a lot for you, not only to get your degree and all of that, but now with the potential extra year of eligibility and the draft uncertain, just what do you think of all those possibilities as you look toward your own personal future?
Yeah, I think there's a number of great options on the table. If, as everything kind of gets figured out with the league and the draft, those things might become a little bit more clear on that side. But, I'm looking at all options right now. Really, either way, if I go end up at the end of the year going back to school and getting a master's degree, that's a great opportunity for me. If I get the opportunity to play professional baseball, if that's the right situation, that's a great opportunity. So kind of out of all this darkness and this dark situation, there's great opportunities either way for me. Just need to kind of approach those as they come.
Hey, Garrett, it's Scott Beatty, WDWS. If you have indeed pitched your last game as an Illini, how does it feel looking back on that last game and capturing a record as you get a save, a program record?
Yeah, it's a bit crazy to all think about. If it is my last game, which, at this point, I don't know whether or not it will be. Still have a lot of conversations to have with the coaching staff and my family about all that stuff going forward. But if that was my last game, obviously it's a pretty cool way to go out. But at the end of the day, if that really was my last game, I'm going to, it's something to be proud of. And more importantly, I'm just proud to be a part of this program. Whether or not I come back at the end of this season, I take immense pride in being a student athlete at Illinois. I'm incredibly proud of my teammates and all the work that they put into this season. And I think we're really starting to make a lot of strides and really proving, what we could kind of do on a national stage as a team, especially a young team. And it makes me excited going forward, seeing what this program can do.
Hey, Garrett, this is Scott Ritchie from the News-Gazette. You probably had an opportunity last spring to maybe see what your pro prospects were. How much of maybe just being at Illinois was and being with this team kind of drove you to come back for one more year now, but maybe even another?
Yeah, kind of when I was going through the whole draft process, that was weighing on me the entire time. We obviously had lost a lot of guys, a lot of seniors that were great players coming into this past season. And it was something that I really wanted to be a part of, kind of the culture change and the program change that we saw this year. I knew I would have to step into a bigger leadership role, and that was a responsibility that I really wanted to take. We only had 3 true seniors in this past class. We had a redshirt senior and Nick Mankin, and then Andrew Dyke, who was a redshirt junior. And you know, I knew that we'd need leaders, and I wanted to be a part of kind of the change that was going to happen in this program and to help lead these young guys. And you know, hopefully, I've done a good job of that. I've done the best I can. But being able to kind of see their development, see where the program was going, was something that was really important to me. And the culture and camaraderie around this team was, you know, a big driving factor in me deciding to come back this past year.
I got
Garrett, moving.
Sorry. In your college career, you've had some maybe smaller uncertainties, going from SLU to Parkland and to Illinois. Nothing compares to maybe this, but how do you feel like maybe, you've just maybe matured and grown to maybe be able to handle a situation like this better?
Yeah. I've already kind of dealt with some uncertainty and adversity in my career, like you said. So it kind of puts everything in perspective. Coach had just talked about how it kind of grounds us, as players, and we go into every day thinking, we're student athletes, we're invincible. This stuff won't happen to us. It won't affect our seasons. And at the end of the day, it's one thing to, deal with stuff in baseball, but there's also problems, plenty of issues that people deal with in life. And at the end of the day, baseball is a game, and we love it. We love it to death, and it's something that we put so much time and effort into. But I think kind of the stuff I've been through in my own baseball career and personal life has, already kind of put this in perspective. So for me, maybe it's a little bit easier to grasp the gravity of this situation and be able to cope with it and understand what I need to do to keep moving forward as a baseball player. Understanding the work that I have to continue to put in to be prepared for whenever I end up on the field next. I think it'll be a bit tougher of a situation for some of our freshmen who had just kind of gone through their first off season on their own, still learning what exactly they need to do to prepare for the season. Hopefully they have a bit of a better understanding having been through that already. But for guys like me and Ty and Ryan Schmidt and all the upperclassmen that had already been through this type of off season, I guess, obviously in a bit of a different situation, we understand what we have to do moving forward, and how to kind of cope with, this adversity.
Garrett, this is Gavin Good from Illini. Just what sort of conversations have you had with your teammates, and how are you guys just collectively reacting to this and trying to, move on?
Yeah, I've had quite a few conversations with individuals. I also made sure I reached out to the entire team, and the big thing that I kind of tried to get across to them was just how proud of this team I am. Coming in day one with as many new guys as we had, I didn't know exactly what to expect. I knew there would be a big learning curve, and I saw so many improvements, not only on the playing side, but in terms of how they handle adversity on the field, how they handle adversity in their own personal lives. Being able to see that growth, not just on the field, but on a personal level, is something that I'm really proud to have been a part of and to be a part of. And, the culture shift that we'd seen coming into this year, the level of camaraderie around the team and how close everybody got, is something that I was so incredibly impressed by. And that I don't think will ever go away. This is an extremely close-knit group. All the guys are still constantly talking to each other every day, whether it be on their own or in our team group messages, all that. The guys are an extremely close-knit crew, and I'm just so proud of all the work they've put in and the improvements they've made, and all the efforts they've put into this season.
Hey Garrett, Eric Fisher from Orange and Blue News here. Just what did you think of what your team was able to accomplish just so far, what you guys were able to do this season, I guess?
Yeah, I think we were, as Coach Hartleb had said, there were some good days, there were some bad days. I think we were really starting to show the ability that we have on the field. Obviously, there were some rough patches in the season. The UCLA game obviously was not pretty. Friday night at Elon wasn't great, but there were so many bright spots. Going out as a team, starting multiple underclassmen and transfers that had never played at the Division I level, going out and beating a team like Texas A&M in a very, very hostile environment. Obviously, being in Texas, mostly Texas A&M fans there, and then going out and beating Oklahoma State, which is a similar environment. We're essentially playing in front of their home crowds, in front of 6,000, 7,000 people, and we have a bunch of guys who have never played in anything like that before. And the way that we handled that as a team, being able to put all of that aside and just go out and do our jobs, was something that I was really impressed by. I honestly didn't expect our guys to handle that well, especially the new guys who had never done that before. And, I think we were really just starting to hit our stride. The pitching was starting to really take shape. Ty obviously was throwing incredibly well, being our leader of the staff, continuing to show the new guys how they need to approach their outings, and kind of the aggressive mentality in terms of how he approached every at-bat, getting ahead, showing our guys how to compete that way was something that, was becoming pretty clear in terms of how our entire pitching staff was approaching outings. Hitters were really starting to hit their stride. Tomia obviously was having a great season, and I know he was working on the side a lot with our underclassmen to try to help bring them along. It's disappointing, obviously, that we won't be able to continue to see that growth, at least in the short term, and we'll have to wait until probably the fall to see that continue. But I have no question that growth that we've seen from guys, the level of talent that we have, will continue to prove itself, and that this team next year will be incredibly talented, and they'll really be able to make a mark on the national stage.
Garrett, this for you right now, what do you do in the meantime just to keep yourself in shape to, try and just continue to improve as much as you can as a baseball player?
Yeah, for me, it's continuing throwing, continuing lifting. Thankfully, I have a good facility in my house and in areas around me that I can go train at. I have plenty of teammates from Illinois that live close by if I ever need to throw. I've already been seeing those guys that throw and get all that extra work in. For me, it's just an opportunity to take this as another offseason, continue to make changes physically, get in better shape, get bigger, stronger, faster. And then on a pitching side, continue to work on the things I was working on with Coach Allen in terms of how I approach the game mentality-wise, approach my bullpens, and really trying to focus on, attacking the strike zone. That's something that I can do even if there's not a hitter in this box. I can get on the mound and throw my bullpens and make sure that, that's my central focus is not just improving my pure stuff, but improving how I attack the strike zone, my pitch location, kind of how I manipulate the baseball. Those are things that I can continue to work on, even though there's not a hitter in the box or a competition coming up.